I spent 3 years on the Korn Ferry Tour, 2008, 9, and 10. But before that, played golf at college in college at TCU and developed through college and got it to a point to where I was at a point to turn professional and go play. Played mini tours for about a year and a half, and then was able to get through Q school to get on the Korn Ferry Tour. It is the feeder to the PGA Tour, the way you look at it. It's the AAA baseball of professional golf, and uh, close to making the PGA Tour. A couple of starts, and there were a couple of final groups that I had on the Korn Ferry Tour where if I would have closed the deal, I'd have been on the PGA Tour the next year. But it was a great run, and it was a lot of fun. And golf's been a wonderful sport for me, and it's fun to be able to still be around the game and everything that I do.
Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to another episode of Adeptus On-Air. I'm again your host, Mike Hoffman, and today I am joined by Dave Schultz. Dave, how you doing today, buddy?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me, Mike.
I appreciate you coming on. Very excited to talk to you. You know, it's been a very diverse career for you, kind of really all stemming around golf, but some really neat things I want to get to. So when I first read the bio, and I consider myself somewhat of a golf fan, obviously not a very good golfer, but not obviously the level of you. When I saw that you were on the Korn Ferry Tour Pro and you were on the tour, I'm like, I gotta be honest with you, I had to Google what it was, but when you Google it, I'm like, damn, that's pretty impressive. So kind of talk about it. I know it's the official developmental tour for the US based PGA. So kind of talk about what you had to do to make it that level.
Yeah, it was a full commitment, right? It's about 10 years, 10 full years of playing full time. And I spent 3 years on the Korn Ferry Tour, 2008, 9, and 10. But before that, played golf at college in college at TCU and developed through college and got it to a point to where I was at a point to turn professional and go play. Played mini tours for about a year and a half, and then was able to get through Q school to get on the Korn Ferry Tour. It is the feeder to the PGA Tour, the way you look at it. It's the AAA baseball of professional golf, and uh, close to making the PGA Tour. A couple of starts, and there were a couple of final groups that I had on the Korn Ferry Tour where if I would have closed the deal, I'd have been on the PGA Tour the next year. But it was a great run, and it was a lot of fun. And golf's been a wonderful sport for me, and it's fun to be able to still be around the game and everything that I do.
Well, it's so funny because when you talk to people who don't know what they're talking about, and you'll hear about, oh, I'll use your baseball analogy. Oh, that guy only made it to AAA. Man, I wouldn't even make it to negative quadruple A. I mean, so the skills that you obviously possess, you know, put you in the probably the top 1/4% of the world in golf. The problem is you probably needed to be in the top 10th instead of the top quarter. So still super impressive. I mean, the amount of work that had to go into that.
A lot of work, yeah, and really it's timing. You know, if you have a chance to get it, you either do it or you're not. In one round, it can come down to one round. You know, had the lead in Columbus, Ohio, going in the final round and wasn't able to close the deal. Tied for the lead in another event, wasn't able to close the deal. But you know, the game was at a level where, you know, there's not a lot of difference between PGA Tour and Korn Ferry Tour at a certain level. It's only about 300 guys, so it was fun to be able to get the game. That was a full commitment, right? Everything in your being is focused on being the best golfer you can possibly be. And I was in my mid 20s at the time. I'm 43 now, so it's fun to look back and think about all the places I was able to go see and travel to. New Zealand and Australia a couple of times. You know, South America was really cool.
Well, it's funny because to your point, when you're watching a PGA Tour event and you'll see an amateur is in the top five going into the final round, it just proves your point that on any given weekend, on any
Yeah,
course, with
yeah.
any type of conditions, bad winds, no winds, you know, fast greens, you know, anyone can really, and when I say anyone, someone like me couldn't make it to the top five, but someone who's an extremely talented person can totally elevate themselves to compete with the world's best.
Absolutely. There's a lot of things in the game of golf that are uncontrollables, you know. So the day in, day out of getting your routine, getting your practice down, and just keep plugging along and really falling in love with the process. And took that to business, just falling in love with the process of maybe not being where you want to be yet, or you're learning as you go and just sticking with it, and trusting in what you're doing is going to move you forward.
I think probably three words to describe a golfer in terms of characteristics they need to have. You know, at least they'll come to me, and that's discipline, patience, and the ability to handle pressure. So, you know, Would you agree that those are probably three of the strongest characteristics that one needs to possess to have, besides the athletic ability, but from the mental side of the game? Would you agree that those are probably the cornerstones of success?
100% discipline. You need to be all in all the time. You're always working. So you go out to dinner, what you eat at night is going to determine how you feel the next day. You're constantly on the clock. And so when I was playing full time, I kind of had that question in the back of my head, what am I going to do if this making the PGA Tour doesn't pan out? What I quickly realized is all that effort that you put in day out playing professional golf translates to the business world really well. You know, you're used to working all the time. And, you know, when I got into the business world at 30 years old, had some catching up to do because all I was doing was golfing for the last 8 years. And so be able to put that discipline into the business world was very advantageous. Now, you said discipline, you said being able to handle under pressure. That kind of comes with the proper preparation. I mean, if you're fall in love with the process, you get in the moment, you have a big shot to hit, you really don't feel it. It's just you're in your rhythm and you're in your routine. You know, like if you're you know, you go into a big pitch, right? Well, you know what you're talking about. You believe in what you're selling, and it just comes through and it's natural. It's not like something you got to lift up for and be someone you're not. It's just a part of the process, and you just follow through the day and execute.
How do the outside factors play in? Because there's always pressure, but there's pressure if you're playing against someone, but then there's pressure if you're in a gallery with people watching. And then then there's potential sponsorships, and there's all these other things that come with it. So it's not just necessarily navigating the course, but it's also these other things that are distracting you potentially.
Yeah.
How do you deal with the distractions?
Well, you go up and down the range of PGA Tour event or Korn Ferry Tour event, everybody's hitting it good. Everyone can actually physically do the game. It's up here. It's if you can handle that, if you can handle the tough holes and have the patience to stick with it and be ready, you know, to come back on the next hole. If you can block out the distractions, whether there's no one standing there, if there's 300 people standing there or 3,000 people standing there, if you can execute the same way. Again, I keep going back to process, but if you're just falling in love with your routine, your process, it's just another shot. It's another 8-iron. Yeah, there might be a lot of people around. It might be final round. It's just another 8-iron. The more you can fall in love with the process, it just happens. You know, it's natural.
So when you're on that tour, are you golfing with one or three other people?
Uh, the Thursdays and Fridays are groups of three, and then after the cut, you play in twosomes on the weekend.
So when with the people you're playing with, and maybe the answer is it doesn't matter because it's all about yourself and the discipline. Is it better for you if the person you're playing with, let's just stick when you're golfing with one other person, is
Yeah.
it better for you if they're shooting well, or is it better for you if they're struggling from a mental
One
side?
one of the most underreported things I think in not only in life, right, but also in professional golf is momentum.
Yeah.
Momentum in professional golf is massive. If you're feeling good and you're just floating through the round, you're going through difficult golf shots and you're just executing. To your point, if you're playing with somebody, you want the group to have good vibes. You want good energy. You want manifest more birdies. And so you want to be drafting or playing with another guy that's playing well. So, and a lot of times if someone's struggling and you're looking for the golf ball, yeah, it can throw you off your rhythm and you're not really you don't have a lot of good momentum. So absolutely. You want the group to be winning together.
But I'm sure there's times where you might be in that final group, and that's who you're competing against for first place, second place, or third place, where to your to counter your point about, yeah, you want the momentum, you want a good groove, you also need to have a better score than them.
Yeah. Yes.
So there has to be some level of counter where I get what you're saying, but deep down, and you don't probably will never admit it, you're hoping that shot that looks good maybe falls a little short and lands in the water.
Or you make one better more birdie.
Well, we'll leave it your way because yours sounds much more professional. Yeah, but I think
Yeah,
I think the same
you
thing.
have more friends at dinner that night then.
Yeah, no, exactly. Which is always interesting. So they're your competitors, but they're also your coworkers in that sense. So there is a camaraderie. So we joke about you wanting to beat the guy you're competing against, but these are also people you genuinely have feelings for and friendships for. So you want a friend to do well.
Well, and you're all living the same lifestyle. It's not a normal lifestyle to be traveling around the country and going hotel to hotel or host family to host family. So you're in it together. You know, you're not on the same team. It's individual sport, but you are living the same life. And nobody wants to be out there on an island. I mean, you want to have guys that, if you're struggling, hey, take a look at my swing. Let's go putt for a little bit. Let's go play a practice round and maybe put some dollars on it to get a little competitive juices before the tournament. Um, at the highest level, and people there, get down the road in life and you get married and you have kids. Well, now the wives are traveling and you're getting to know, the families are getting interconnected. So, and then you travel together. Anything that can make that lifestyle easier and have a friend in the process is a positive.
Yeah, so now you're a pro at a golf course in Fargo. You're the general manager there.
Yes, sir.
I'm sure you play a lot of golf. I see your bag right behind you. I'm sure you probably even played today, or if not, you're playing later today. How has the game of golf for you changed now as not on a tour as opposed to what you do now?
It's a great question. There was about a year there I didn't touch a club after I hung it up and playing professional golf.
Why? Was it just too hard, or you just needed a break?
I was a little afraid. I mean, it was a dream not realized, and I was a little, I would say, I was upset at the game. Like I put all of myself into it and didn't get there, and wanted to jump fully into the business world. So there was about a year there where I didn't play, but then I started really seeing the game through other people's eyes. My dad, who passed away in 2018, I saw him get into the game late in life and saw what joy it brought to him. He's found something he could get better at each day. And so that brought a lot of joy. My wife is now playing. She's been playing for 3 years, and I have three girls, 9, 7, and 6, and they're getting into junior golf. And now, it's kind of fun to go to the team and be like, I did this for a number of years. Tee it up, I'm not depending on my golf game for a paycheck anymore. And so it's a lot of fun to go out there and play. And you know what? Arguably, the game's better now than it was when I was playing because of the ability still there, and I don't practice as much. So I mean, there's some inefficiencies in the game. I can still hit the shots and have fun doing it.
Now, so you play with members of the course, I'm sure.
Absolutely.
You play with a lot of different people. Now, again, some part two of what you'll probably never admit out loud. Do you still feel, though, because you're the golfer? They golf, but you're the golfer. You obviously made it to a level that most of these people could never dream of. You're the pro there, and so forth. Is there pressure for you to beat them when you're golfing with them?
I don't feel it. I don't feel it. They may be focused on it, but I don't feel it.
Next question. You don't feel it. Do you think they're like, all right, this isn't a normal day. I'm golfing with Dave. I got to take him down.
Yes, I do. I do. I think so. Yeah, I mean, it makes sense. Like if I go play with Scotty Scheffler, I'm going to be like, man, see how my game compares with him, which it doesn't. But you know what I mean? You at least want to just draft off of somebody and see how you could play. So yeah, absolutely. If we get down the stretch and we're tied or somebody's beating me by one coming down the stretch, I need to say it. I need to bring it up. I need to lead it. I need to start razzing them a little bit. Can you really handle the pressure? Let's go.
Well, you've heard athletes say this before, that the love of the game is great, but when you can play for fun, you still have the competitive juices because you can't make it to your level without having a competitive edge. I just don't believe in any sport. If you're not super competitive and want to be the best on every shot, I don't think you make it to the level you make it, in my opinion. So now that you're not competing to that degree, maybe you lost a little bit of the competitiveness, but that's just inherent in who you are. So I got to believe if you're a competitive guy, you still always maintain some level of competitiveness. I mean, I can't play checkers against my wife with her out to kill me. So, and if I beat her, the checkers get thrown in my head. So
I would not advise it. I wouldn't advise that.
Well, we haven't played checkers in 20 years since that last time that happened. Yeah. but when you're competitive, whether it's in whatever aspect of your life. If it's something, if it's a characteristic you have it forever.
Absolutely, for sure. And that translates into business, right? I mean, we have a comp set here at the Fargo Country Club. We have a comp set. We want to win. We want to have a full membership. We want to be the spot where everybody wants to be a part of. When it comes to the Hole in One Show TV show I'm doing, I want to get to as many markets as possible and, create a situation where we can grow that into a Hole in One Show national championship. Yeah, absolutely. There's competitive. Now, I can feel where my competitive juices have shifted from the golf course. When I go play, I don't have the same kind of I need to beat everybody in the group or in this tournament as I used to. But it absolutely translates to other parts of business.
So do you, for your daughters, do you think right now they're in junior golf and they're obviously very young? Is
Yeah.
this something they're really passionate about that you think they're going to pursue it? I don't want to say professionally, it's too young to tell, but want to pursue it to see where it takes them?
It's interesting. I'm going to see, got to see how their personalities play out if that's what they want to do. We live very close to the golf course now, so they're going to have the opportunity to, on their own, go out and practice and play. And I want that to organically happen. I don't want just because I play professional golf, I don't want to say you're going to go play college golf, even though that'd be so much fun playing college golf. It's the best 4 years of your life. You're traveling around playing golf. It's amazing.
Right.
But I'm watching them play basketball right now and seeing the competitive juices come through there and seeing who's got a little bit of grit and who's
Yeah.
maybe a little more of a soft heart. And so just letting their personalities play out. But either way, golf is a great skill to have for life.
Now there's two different types of dads, and I'm a girl dad also. I have two girls, they're much older than yours.
Okay.
The first time one of them beats you in golf, and obviously we're a way off from that. Are you gonna be happy they beat you in golf, or are you gonna be pissed off if they beat you in golf?
I'll be thrilled. I'll be thrilled.
Way.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll be thrilled. Now, my wife, I'm not sure if they beat her. She might be that might be a problem.
Yeah. Now, if she ever beat you in golf, just keep some checkers in your pocket. Just throw them out.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's what you gotta do.
Um,
So, talk to me about the TV show because that seems like a pretty neat concept.
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun. So, been doing it 7 years up here in North Dakota. It's good. The Dakota series airs across all of North Dakota and Western Minnesota. Took 4.5 years to get it protected with the trademark, and so once I did, called Arizona, got the show off the ground there. It's currently airing the first season of the Desert series of the Hole in One show. Pretty simple. It's Wheel of Fortune on a tee box. It's a golf game show. 6 amateur golfers on each show. They get 2 shots from 140 yards. The closest shot wins $1,000 to their charity of choice. So we've raised about 130,000 over the first 7 seasons. And if they knock it in the hole, they win a brand new car. And if they win the season, they get 2 shots for $1 million at the end of the season. So it's a mix of reality television. It's amateur golfers. Very rarely have they ever played golf on TV or hit any golf shots on TV. So their nerves, they got to overcome the nerves. And then they're playing for their charity of choice, which there's a mission behind it, and there's a reason for them to be hitting those shots, and they share the reason they're playing for that charity before they hit their shots. So it's a lot of fun. I'm proud of the show. Grandma and grandpa can sit down with the grandkids and watch. It's good content, and it's fun to see. Now that we have it in Arizona, a new market, it's fun to see people who have never seen the show or heard of the show embrace it. It's very validating. It's been fun.
When you say amateur golfers, are you talking amateur golfers like me who have no business being on a golf course? Or are you talking amateur golfers like people who play golf actively, but just are maybe a level below where you were?
Both. Both. The only prerequisite is they could have never played professional golf at all. So
So right now, if you want to sign this up, when you hit the East Coast, I'm on the show.
Perfect. Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. So we do qualifyings, and that aren't on.
I'm not going to qualify for anything.
You're exempt. You're exempt. You're exempt. We do qualifyings. We pick a charity to raise money for in the qualifying. So, from the beginning to the end of the show, from whether you're on TV on the qualifying part or while we're doing the show, there's money being raised. So it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, no, it's a fun thing. What I like is a lot of reality TV is very much reality. It's it's scripted reality. Yours sounds like it's genuinely just watching 6 people play for a charity. Let them experience the pressure of if they were a pro golfer, I got to make the shot because there's something at stake.
Yeah, and the big thing, the word that our North Star is authenticity. You got to be authentic. It's not overproduced, right? This is not an overpolished production. This is raw. This is amateur golfers. We shoot all 9 episodes in one day, and I'm the GM of a golf course, and so I'm not, I might not be your Jim Nance on the tee. Like everything is authentic. This is me, a golf background, and then family with TV and media. And now we're bringing it to the tee and people are enjoying it.
So how did you end up? I mean, obviously, were you from Texas? Because you said you went to TCU. Like, where were you born and raised?
Fargo, North Dakota, and that's where I am now.
So
So
Fargo Tour, yeah.
I'm looking at snow. I'm back home and I'm back home in Fargo.
Okay, I was going to say my question was going to be how'd you end up in North Dakota, but the answer is you came from North Dakota.
Yeah, grew up in Fargo. It was a great childhood. We grew up right next to the Fargo Country Club. There's a par 3 course here, so I could walk out and just learn the game, at my own pace. And I played 3 sports: football, hockey, golf. Ended up obviously playing golf in college because I wanted to play a sport for a living, and was able to live that dream out through early 30s, and then met my wife, who's actually from this area as well. So even though I spent 10 years in Fort Worth, Texas, it was awesome. Love Fort Worth. Moved back here, and we're raising our kids here in Fargo. This time of year, kind of question life's decisions when it's 20 degrees. We had 15 straight days in January where it was below zero, and I was like, this is too much. Then I went to the waste management. I went to the WM Phoenix Open for a couple days, and I'm like, 80 degrees in February exists. What are we doing?
I know. We East Coast was awful this year. We went probably about not as cold as you. But we went about a 17-day stretch where we didn't see really above 20.
Oh,
and that's
yeah.
bad. That's bad for us to go that long, that cold. And we had a storm. And to this day, I still have the piles outside my house that they still have melted because they got so cold that even the last couple of days have been in the 40s. It was so much ice that it's getting smaller, but it's not going anywhere for a while.
We're golf crazy up here because we only get it on grass for about 6 months a year. What's incredible up here is the explosion of indoor golf and the golf simulators. They're everywhere. I mean, if you're opening a restaurant or an establishment, a bar, if you don't have a golf simulator in it, well, get ready to be quiet. I mean, all of them have golf simulators. It's incredible. And the technology's getting a lot better. I mean, it's fun.
You enjoy it? Like you could do a golf simulator and not feel like, what the hell am I doing?
I can't get into the golf simulator game as much as other people, but it's getting better. It's getting better.
It's kind of like the bowlers who have to do Wii bowling and like, what the hell? I'm a damn good Wii bowler, but you don't want me bowling in a real bowling alley.
Right. Exactly.
So what would you say? Because I know now you're basically running a company, for lack of a better word, general manager there. So we talked about some of the key characteristics of being a successful golfer, the patience, the discipline, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
The transition, obviously, that was your school of hard knocks. So maybe you didn't go to business school necessarily to train to be a general manager, but you didn't get that aspect of the training, but you got probably so much more in a different way because of all the obstacles and adversity and discipline and all that kind of stuff. So kind of talk about the difference, or how do you think you'd be as a professional right now if you weren't a golfer and instead you kind of trained for the more traditional way?
We got to be willing to put in the work, and the team members having the most success are willing to put in the work. As the GM of the golf club, you're never off. You can go home, but you're constantly on. So you need to be comfortable with constantly being on and ready to react to anything that might happen on property. So there's the correlation with just completely all in all the time with professional golf that is translated to the club. Now, this is a private club, 400 members with a wait list, 115 social members, 1,800 people total. People are using the club a lot of different ways, and we're going through a massive, generational improvement on not only the golf course, but on the facility. Nothing happens overnight, and that's where your patience comes in. You got to go through the proper checks and balances, get the whole team on board, not only our team, but the membership on board on what these changes are going to be, and then realize that you're steering a ship. This isn't a wakeboard boat. I mean, this thing isn't going to turn on a dime. You got to and plan it out and just keep chugging along and make sure that CapEx is coming in, that we can deploy that capital on improvements at the club. And we're planning improvements for 2027 right now. So even though we want it done yesterday, our planning for next year is happening now.
It was a 5 or 10 year vision.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. We have about a 5-year vision to get the whole club flipped, essentially, updating the clubhouse and some other facilities on the property and the golf course. And so it's an important time to be in the role. It's a place I grew up. I love it. It's an important time to be part of that process. And again, these are changes that have things that we're doing haven't been touched in 40 years. So there's plenty to keep the plate full.
Well, it's funny. So the finish line is just different than it was for you then. The goal when you were golfing was to come in first, qualify. Now the goal is to, get all these improvements to the course. The goal is to maybe increase membership. The goal is now to, raise more money, So you're always looking towards something. It's just a different end result.
Yeah, and look, we have bad days, right? Where just like it just doesn't anything, it doesn't seem like anything's going the right direction. And the thing I love to know is my kids, they're not the only three kids that are members here, right? We have a ton of kids, a lot of young families. And I know how important those memories were when I was their age and how excited I was to come to the club. And so even in the tough days, like, hey, we're making improvements that are going to be set that these kids can be able to bring their kids to the club down the road, and they're creating memories now, and they're going to see this progress, and they'll be members of the club for a long, long time. And creating those lifelong family memories are special.
Oh yeah, no doubt, no doubt. When you were golfing, was there a certain golfer that you were trying to emulate, or that you really mirrored your game towards, that you thought, wow, that a novice like me might not see, but just the way they approach the game, their swing. Was there someone that you always wanted to watch because you thought there was a correlation?
There wasn't. I mean, he was the best in the game, but all of us were trying to be Tiger. All of us were all of a sudden lifting weights. All of us were doing the putting drills with the two tees. All of us were trying to be so locked in the entire round of golf, which is very difficult to do. I mean, you got to check in, check out as you're walking through the golf course. Everybody was just looked up to this guy that was beating everybody. And now the younger generation has Scotty Scheffler and seeing what he does. And it's so much fun to see how he's just going to find his way to the top of the leaderboard every week, even though he spots the field 10 shots after the first round. It's incredible what he's doing. So not necessarily emulate, just look, the best in the game. That's who you're going to try and copy.
Do you think Tiger playing the game, obviously then it helped the game, obviously the rating stuff. Now that Tiger's not Tiger anymore, do you think now that the game is suffering because there isn't Tiger? And while Scotty's a great golfer, there's other great golfers, no one has the personality and the aura of Tiger. So do you think now people are a little disappointed with golf? As a novice person like myself, I'm not watching now where I did watch when Tiger was in his prime.
I would go the other way. I think golf is stronger now than it was and I see the green grass here at a local level, right?
Yeah.
Obviously, there was a huge push for golf through COVID. Okay, you have that. There's a huge push for golf now because we still have really, really great players. You have a Scotty Scheffler who's dominating the game. That draws eyes. You also have now the explosion of YouTube golf and golf influencers who are finding a knack there, and a lot of people who follow them, and a new revenue stream and a new career that people are having through the game of golf that has nothing to do with actually playing good golf, which is fine. You're seeing I went to the PGA show, I've gone in the last few years. It's thriving. Rounds are up and so are rates. It's not cheap to play golf anymore, and we're still getting full tee sheets. So I think golf is an extremely strong spot right now for a number of factors, whereas back then it was Tiger and Tiger alone.
Right.
That you could feel that void.
Would come into discussion once in a while, but at the end of the day, it was Tiger.
Exactly. Golf's super strong right now, 100%.
Favorite golf movie of all time?
Golf movie? I don't know. I kind of like Tin Cup.
Thank you. I'm with you. That's mine.
Yeah, a little love story there, but also it's just funny. I thought it was great. I thought it was a great movie.
I loved his character. I mean, Happy Gilmore is funny in a different way, but I almost don't even call that a golf movie, but it's obviously based around golf. But yeah, Tin Cup. I would have liked the ending to be a little different because it was like I thought it was relatively realistic all the way through. Relatively, obviously, it's a movie.
Yeah.
But the end of the 6 shots, I'm like, all right, come on. This is now we're at the point of stupid. But I agree. Favorite golf movie.
So that whole Deerwood in Texas, and I played Q school, and there's a plaque in the fairway where Roy McIlroy hit it, 6 times. It's a cool little hole, actually.
Newman just gave his movie character name.
Was that it?
Yeah.
I think I did. Yeah, yeah. Romeo. That's a good show.
Yeah, exactly. And what was Don Johnson's character's name? I forget.
David Sims.
Oh my God! So you know better than me. There you go.
Make 18 pars, I'll pass you. That's a good movie.
Yeah, good movie. Yeah. See, I remember the name was Scooter from is it Scooter? Shooter from Happy
Shooter
Gilmore.
McGavin, yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good character too.
That's a good character too. Yeah. But how would you like to see, as a fan now,
Yeah.
golf continue to evolve over the next 5 or 10 years?
Well, with the live, with live golf coming into play and bringing a lot of great players over there, we're starting to see that break down a little bit, and some of the better players, wanting to get out or coming back with Brooks Koepka and Patrick Reed. The more and more that the highest level players can play on the same playing field is really what needs to happen, and it's starting to. World ranking points for live golf should help because those better players will have more opportunities for majors. But on the weekly, the day-to-day basis, it'd be nice to get those players playing a lot more. Now, everyone who's playing professional golf has benefited from live. They're all making more money. The
Yeah.
PGA Tour has had to change their entire business structure and be for profit, and ownership stake for current players, guaranteed events with purses of $20 million and guaranteed purses. So to attract these guys to come and play at the same time, boy, the top 40, 50 in the world, they're making bank, and they can thank live, whether they went to them or not. They can thank live golf.
Hey, sometimes competition brings well, I'm sure you see it in what you do now. You got to look at what other people are doing, and you gotta adjust and modify.
Yeah, and they did, and I'm excited to see. I know there's more changes coming to the PGA Tour. Tiger, teased that. I'm excited to see what those changes are, because they know that, like, it's a product. Like, you have to get those eyeballs for to make the revenue, to make it make sense, and it's going to be fun to see what they end up doing.
I'm going to quote another sports movie, and I think it covers as well. Moneyball, another great sports movie. Did you ever see that?
I haven't.
Moneyball is the story of Billy Beane, who's the general
Billy
manager.
Beane, Oakland A's, yeah.
And when he's talking about how he needs to compete with all these big market teams and this new approach that they're having, he just basically is in his meeting with all of his scouts, and he just goes, adapt or die. And that was it makes sense. It's a great lesson, not just for sports, for baseball, for golf. You could say adapt or die in the middle of your round. I got to adapt to the weather conditions. I got to adapt to a raucous crowd. Whatever it is. So
the on base percentage, wasn't that the stat that he was looking at? On base percentage.
It was the Bill James thing. Yeah, and it was based upon, we don't care if you had home runs. We need to score this many runs to be competitive. So a walk's as good as a hit.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. We just needed guys who can get on base, and that's what it was.
Yeah.
And then in that one scene, he's like, "Why do we want him? Because he gets on base. We don't care. We don't care that he has a bad back. We don't care that he goes out to strip clubs at night." We're talking about one of the characters. We don't care about any of that. What do we care about? He gets on base.
Well, what we talk about here at the team is a few things. Let's block and tackle. Yeah. It's not the flashy stuff. Let's block and tackle. Let's get here on time. Let's have our name tag on. Let's put our phones down. Let's not congregate at the front desk. Let's learn our members' names. Let's have that proactive reach out to the member. Let's block and tackle and do these little things day in, day out that are going to turn out to make, put us in a better position.
Yeah. So you have a podcast also. So kind of talk about that briefly as we wrap up, and kind of where people can find that.
Yeah. Quick 18 podcast. I actually partner with our head golf professional, Andy Carroll. He's my co-host, and we've done 15 podcasts. It's just fun. It's fun to get in front of the mic, fun to talk golf. If there's some hot topics in the game of golf, we just had our new green superintendent here at the Fargo Country Club on. So really getting into the details of agronomy, and we're going to send that to the membership. So that'll be really interesting for them to see and get to know him a little bit. We've had some national guests on, and we're going to grow it. It's just it's a fun side project for us. And there's plenty to talk about in the world of golf right now. That's for sure. And so we have fun with it.
Listen, I love doing this because, I can talk, I'm talking to you today. I can
Yeah.
talk to someone who's a writer or, entertainer. So it's a lot of, yeah, it's nice to just chat with different people from different places, and so for my last podcast, I was talking to someone who was in Thailand, so it's
Yeah.
really neat just to get different perspectives on different things.
And then we're both, he actually played professional hockey for a couple of years before getting into golf. And so we both come from competitive backgrounds and we want to compete. And so we talked yesterday about signing up for the US Open. The US Open qualifying came out yesterday morning and we both signed up within the first 5 minutes. We're just excited to log in and connect with the US Open and have something to prepare for come late April.
Yeah, that's awesome. So how can people find you online, social media, the website, if they want to learn more about your club?
Yeah, so it's theholeinoneshow.com, all spelled out, theholeinoneshow.com. And then all the social handles are at the HIO show, at the HIO show. So Instagram, YouTube channel, all those avenues, love for a follow, and we're having fun. So, and if we're ever in your market, get online and come out to a qualifier. Get yourself on the TV show.
Oh, I don't even need to look for it because you're going to reach out to me when you're on the East Coast, and I'm there.
Deal.
Listen, Dave, pleasure talking to you. I really enjoyed it. Looks like you're living the dream right now. You got a great family, great job. You're still involved in the game that you love. So, besides having better weather, it looks like things are going pretty well for you.
I appreciate it. Very blessed. And yeah, there's snow on the ground.
Thanks for listening, everybody.
Thanks for listening to Adeptus On-Air. If you like this episode, please subscribe and leave a review. The views and opinions by the podcast speakers and guests are solely their own and do not reflect the opinions of Adeptus. This podcast provides general information only and is not intended to constitute advice.